Look who I brought back to the channel.
I'm back. I'm back.
Where have you been?
Working. I've been busy. We've been busy. We closed a couple properties. I've had 4 or 5 closings in the last month or so. So
I like
it's been good. Been really busy, but definitely need to get back to YouTube.
What are we talking about today?
We're going to talk a little bit about just properly pricing properties.
Shifting market.
Shifting market. So. And just kind of talk a little bit about how sellers and buyers should be responding to a shifting market.
Yeah, just a mix of things in today's video, so please stay tuned. What's happening? Tell me what you're feeling in the market.
So I feel like the market has definitely slowed down, and slowing down dramatically.
Okay.
So prices have not come down, but it's taking a little bit longer to sell properties. But the thing is that how buyers and sellers are responding to that is super important right now. And I want to use the example. We had a listing down in Grove City, and it was on the water. We had it listed at $1.975 million.
Well, back up, because we didn't start there. We started at 2,175.
2,175.
Okay.
We were on a street where there were 6, 7, 8 different listings that were on the street, some of which were bigger, more updated than ours, some of which were smaller, less updated. Mm-hmm. Price ranges well above ours to well below ours. So we were on the higher side, but well under 2 or 3 of the other listings. House next door was listed for the exact same price at 2.1.
Not nearly as nice.
Not nearly as nice.
Not nearly as good of a view.
So we went to our clients and said, look, we're getting activity here. We have one person that is close, we have one person that's close to possibly making an offer, but we think this is probably the only buyer that's going to be coming for this neighborhood. And after this buyer buys, you're going to be, if you don't sell them your house, you're probably going to be the odd man left out. It's going to be musical chairs here. You're going to be the odd man left out, and nobody's going to sell.
And that was at the three-week marker?
3 or 4 week marker. So they agreed to the reduction.
Reluctantly.
The day we reduced, we immediately got an offer. We immediately put it under contract, saw the contract through. Since that happened, it's about 5-6 weeks ago. About 5-6 weeks or so ago. Since that happened, not a single one of those other properties is sold, and some of those agents have reached out to us and been like,
wondering what we did.
Hey, what did you do? What can we do to sell it? And I'm like, look, the market is changing. If you're not willing to reduce the price in any market,
and not in a short little amount, it has to be enough to affect the market. Now, that being said, there was one that went pending and then came back on the market.
Right.
It was kind of a unique property.
It was, but we're seeing also agents that have listings, they'll do, on a $1 million listing, they do a $2,000 reduction.
Don't do that.
That is a complete waste of time. Complete waste of time.
It has to be enough to affect the market.
Right. It's going to have to be enough that they're like, wow, these people are serious. They want to do a deal. Yeah. Let's put a deal together.
And don't you say, okay, and also, and I've had multiple conversations with sellers, we have to be very mindful of the days on the market. It's better to rip the Band-Aid off now versus 6 months, and then you have 6 months on the market, and then the buyers are like, this is old. I want to see the shiny new penny, and I'm going to offer a lot less, or what's wrong with it. It's just not good for you as a seller.
Well, and I think a good example of that is we'd met with some people that were potentially going to list with us. We had told them we'd like to list it around $1.295 million. Mm-hmm. They ended up going with a different agent, listing it at
1.695.
So $400,000 higher than we were talking. Of course, it sat. They keep reducing. They're still above where we would have listed it at.
Right.
And we strongly feel that we would have sold it in that price range. It would have been probably around the 125 range. Well, now we have had some of our investors reach out to us and say, well, I might be interested at 1.2 million or 1.195 or 1.19. And so basically the learn, what you're learning from that is just properly price it.
Listen to your agent if you're hiring a good agent.
If it's not properly priced, make the reduction and make it quickly, rip the Band-Aid off and do it.
But also make your agent show you
the numbers, the data,
trajectory, the stats, the visuals.
The data right now is absolutely clearly saying we're in a slower market. Tampa, how did it go? Manatee, Hillsborough, Manatee County had the largest amount of reductions in the country last month. So everybody was pricing things really high because they were getting it. Well, they're not anymore. So then the property sits there for a long time. The only way to sell it is to reduce it back to what it's worth. And at the end of the day, as a realtor, we can shoot photos, we can market it, we can go out and knock on doors, and we can do all the things that are needed. But if it's not properly priced, it's not going to sell.
Well, and I have one coming up I'm really, really, really excited about, and it's a beachfront home. Now, to that point, I spoke with them earlier in the year, like closer to February, and I told them a higher price. It was about a $500,000 more than we are as we sit here May 2nd. Okay, but that particular home is sitting in a technical buyer's market. I'm so used to saying seller's market. Technical buyer's market at 9.3 months of inventory. Okay, and when you see properties on your entire street being listed, reduced, not selling, like, you have to watch that, and that is indicative of how well you should be pricing it. And if you're telling me you want to sell a home within 60 or 90 days, we do have to be more aggressive on the price. It doesn't show desperation, it just shows that you're being realistic on the current market. And we, like you said, we do all the magic stuff behind the scenes and do everything first class, and we listen to our sellers. But at the end of the day, if it's priced high, buyers don't make offers. Very, very, very few do. I will say there are some that do, but the majority of people, they don't want to insult the sellers.
They don't want to insult the sellers, and what you think is reasonable, what they think is reasonable, maybe two completely different things. They don't want to insult anybody. And so they're not going to come, if you're listing your property at $2 million and they want to come with a $1.9 million offer, they're not going to do it. They're not going to come in $100,000 under, insult you, and then there's no chance of a deal being done. But they're also not going to come in at $1.95 million if they don't think it's worth $1.9 million.
I just had a closing yesterday with a great referral from an agent in the state. Wonderful referral, great referral partnership there. And this particular property was listed with another agent, and the seller actually wanted to reduce, and the agent said no. Well, then I took over that. There are times when I don't recommend that. I have one listing right now where I said no, I don't recommend reducing the price. I think we're priced well. Let's just try to be patient. And then the next day we got 2 showings. Okay. So, but anyway, back to the referral partner. So I took over that listing. We priced it well. It went under contract in 37 days. And we have it sold within 95%, I believe it was. Cash, 2-week closing. We closed yesterday. My seller is very happy. I'm happy. He's upset because he waited, and he should have just pulled the plug on that agent. And, not everybody's meant to sell that property, I guess. It was kismet or whatever you want to call it. But, this is a really interactive time. We have to really communicate with you as a seller.
Your agent should absolutely, if they're recommending a reduction, they better be sending you a whole list of one, these are the statistics, this is why, this is what I've done to properly market it, this is what I'm doing to hustle and make sure that I'm getting as many people to see this property, as many eyeballs on the property as I can. There better be a long email that's coming along with that conversation, and not just, oh, well, it's not selling, so let's reduce the price.
And one of the biggest misconceptions, too, when we are we're very hyper targeting the right buyers, right? And everybody thinks all the buyers are coming from New York. Well, when you really look at each individual property, we have what's called List Track at Coldwell Banker, and it's a live link, and it's so neat. You can see, first of all the views, all the favorites,
where are those
all
views
the
coming
websites that people are actually looking, how many people are looking on each site, and where in the world they're looking, and it's live. So once I send my sellers that live link, they can check on it anytime, and it's a live update. And actually, half the buyers are coming from Florida. So you're neglecting, if you're talking to an agent that's saying, oh, I'm connected to New York or Ohio or whatever, you're neglecting all the people right here in our backyard that are coming to buy. Like, this is a second home market. Gosh, it's really hot and sunny here. Ooh.
I know, we suffer so.
We suffer so much
But
here.
so I think the big thing is this. If you're selling right now and the property's not moving, you really need to look at your price, like what has been done to market it. And look, it doesn't matter what market you're in. Even in a hot market, if it's not properly marketed, it's not going to sell. But if it has been properly marketed, your agent is doing all the things that they need to do in regards to marketing and advertising and getting the word out about your property, and it's still not moving. At the end of the day, everybody says any property boils down to location, updates, and price. Look, and you can't move the location of the property.
Well, you can't do that, yeah.
You can't, unless you're going to take it off the market and substantially update the property. Most people are not going to do that in the middle of a sale. It boils down to price.
And also, like I said, I have one right here in Longboat Key where the seller was actually saying we should lower the price.
Right.
We're the lowest 2-bedroom, 2-bath on Longboat Key right now as it stands.
Right.
And I said, it's not that, it's actually because we chase the feedback,
right.
It's the HOA fees and the leasing restrictions, because I chase the agents down, I chase
right.
the buyers down, I want
right.
to know exactly what it really is.
Right.
And we haven't, it's not price. So I said, let's just be patient. Some of it is patience, which you
sure.
and I are not
the best at. I'll be 100%. I'm not.
I don't know who's
patient.
worse, you or me, but there's an
me,
element. There's an element of patience on all sides here when it comes to like a shifting market. And remember, watch the end of April market stats. He was not invited.
I know. I got kicked out somehow.
But the end of April showed that we're in an equilibrium market, right? So the sellers have to be patient, buyers have more options. Sure. I mean, it just is what it is. This is more normal.
It's more normal. Which is a good thing. I do think at some point, I know yesterday they paused on lowering interest rates, but I do think that there will be a time where eventually rates will come down, and when they do, I think our market is going to come racing back. But I'm just speculating. I'm not, I'm not saying that like, oh, I know 100%.
No,
nobody knows that. And at the end of the day, though, if that happens, then yes, it's going to go back to being a seller's market, and buyers are going to be, fighting with multiple bids. So if you're buying, now is a great time to buy.
It is.
Because there's a lot more inventory. You really can pick and choose what you're looking at and what you want to offer. There's a little bit more negotiation, whereas if you go back a year and a half ago, 2 years ago during COVID, there's no negotiating.
Yeah.
Basically, it was going to sell at the listing price.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it. If you don't want it, there's 15 people behind you that do.
It's not a fun market either.
So I think that like right now, if you're a buyer, you're in a really great position. If you're a seller, you just need to be sure that you're properly pricing the property. And if you do that, both parties will be very happy.
And by the way, if you're interested to know more about the NAR settlement or anything having to do with the buyer-broker agreements,
sure.
We stay really educated on top of that.
Right.
Our office is really cutting edge in terms of the paperwork,
sure.
educating us and better informing our clients. I've done a few videos on that. Check that out. What else?
That's it. That's pretty much it.
Right?
Yeah. If you'd like to reach me, you can feel free to call me anytime, 24 hours a day on my cell phone, 941-586-2460. And
I'm at 941-544-7690. We want to hear from you. So if email is better, it's shaylatwit@gmail.com.